Hi, I'm Ranjit, a counsellor here at NAMS and also a person in recovery from substance use disorder.
Okay, hi, my name is Sufian. I am a peer support specialist at the National Addiction Management Service and a person in recovery for substance use disorder.
I battle addiction at various points since my youth, from consuming alcohol casually at 14 years old and to abusing drugs 2 years later then, and developing substance use disorder by the time I was 21 years old.
I started abusing drugs when I was in primary school. I initially liked the way drugs made me feel at that time. I never thought that this habit could lead me to becoming addicted. By the time I realized it, it was too late. I was hopelessly addicted.
Today we'll be talking about some of the questions that people ask about entering rehab. Entering rehab is one of the most important decisions you may have to make in your life. It's a major commitment for both you and your loved ones. And therefore it's understandable that you may have many concerns and consideration that you may need to take into account. So I'd like you to know, therefore you're not alone and definitely not the first one with this question. And so today we'll be discussing some of these questions and we'll be sharing with you what you can do with them.
It is not easy to make a decision to change and to stay sober. Before I understood that addiction is a medical condition, I despised myself for my lack of willpower and for not being able to control my drug use. Although I have failed many times and been to drug rehabilitation center and prison due to my addiction, I never stopped believing that one day I can change. Entering rehab is one of the most important decisions I have made in my life. It is a major commitment for both me and my loved one, especially my family. I have many doubts and concerns in the beginning since I have failed many times in the past.
Well, it can be challenging and also difficult to admit that you may have a problem when it comes to substance use disorder from drug or alcohol. Therefore, I would suggest a key indicator would to see whether the substance abuse is causing negative effect in your life or in areas such as relationship with your family members, your friends, your colleagues, or if it has affected your work or your school. Now, if this aspect in your life has been affected, it's wise to take a closer look and come to these terms that perhaps there may be an issue and you may need to look into treatment. Well, I think it's understandable that you want to manage your own addiction on your own because it's a big decision, whether to go into rehab or not. And there may be various concerns they may have. But it has been proven that rehab can actually help an individual in many ways dramatically and increase their odds of a successful long-term recovery. Well, generally it takes about 3 months in treatment to get sober, to develop a good understanding of addiction and recovery, which will help you to initiate a plan for continued recovery. It's important to note that how you recover from addiction will be different from another person's treatment plan of recovery journey. Depending on the kind of treatment program you decide to enroll in, it's important that you take appropriate preparation measures that can successfully help you use the skills that you learn in the rehab. Firstly, it will be helpful to discuss the rehab treatment with a trained addiction specialist so as to understand that the various options that are available in the community for rehab treatment. Secondly, is to discuss the rehab treatment center, what to expect during the treatment, how to prepare for the particular rehab that you're enrolling with. It's also important, thirdly, to take care of your work and family obligations and financial obligations so that it doesn't affect your rehab treatment when you're going through. And lastly, I think it's important that you must be mentally prepared to take the journey. Ensure that your mind is at peace so that you can stay focused on maintaining your sobriety while you are in the rehab and recovery treatment center. There are many types of rehab treatment, but generally most follow same standard set of therapy and recovery activity. Firstly, residential inpatient program will provide you a safe and supportive environment for recovery And depending on the length and the amenities that the rehab program, the daily activities may vary. Okay, expect the structured program that will require you to develop a healthy sleeping time, proper time for eating meals, taking care of physical health, and therapy sessions. These therapy sessions could be group or individual sessions. And during one-on-one sessions, you will be provided a safe environment to feel free to open up, to share your fears, your concerns, your challenges, thus allowing the therapist to introduce and provide tools and alternative behavioral resources to responses for the issues that you are struggling with. And during group sessions, which are generally led by a therapist, the participants will share their personal stories, such as their experiences, their strengths, and their hope to one another for emotional and mental healing. And this promotes a sense of fellowship during the stay in the rehab. And as trust grows, most of them will become more open to one another, developing a sincere, compassionate understanding of each other, battles and challenges. Remember, recovery is a lifelong process, and one that begins as soon as you step out of the rehab center's doors. Generally, most rehab center counselors will assist the patients or their clients to develop what we call a wellness and a recovery action plan, which may include the following. Okay, it could be starting first off with a short-term and a long-term goal for recovery and wellness. Alright, because in the short terms there are certain challenges, and there are also maybe long-term challenges which we have to develop. There will also be a daily and weekly action plan for healthy living. There must be some concrete action plans that you need to take to avoid relapses. Another area would be to develop a wellness toolbox. It's a personalized list of options and things that to do to feel better when you are having a hard time. Remember, in recovery or treatment, the hard times are going to come, and therefore these tools will be very useful for you. And also, you'll be developing a list of triggers or craving signs that things are moving away in a very wrong direction, away from your goals that you set off and the action steps that you need to deal with them. Those are going to come in recovery. So having these plans, it will actually help you to deal with the challenges there. And also, another area would be to list the people in the support system that you can call on for support, for encouragement, for socializing, and for having fun. These are very important people because you may be leaving your drug using friends and now you're getting new friends. So it's important you develop this. Other areas could be, for example, developing stress management tools like deep breathing or yoga, something that is very familiar for you that you are comfortable with. And very importantly, last one is to have a plan to instruct people how to help you when in a crisis. And this crisis could be a relapse. You may have returned back to serious drug use and so forth here. And so you have to prepare a plan. It could be, who are you going to tell when you relapse and so forth here. So you need to do all of this and prepare yourself, because recovery can be challenging in that sense. And so today, many successful persons in recovery has been known to follow many of these wellness and recovery action plans after leaving rehab, which has enabled them to sustain sobriety, live a better quality of life, and have meaning and purpose, and that is very personal to each one of them.
Throughout my rehab process, I learned that I am not alone, and the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, but human connection. I am thankful for those who have supported me in my recovery journey. I am now 10 years into my sobriety journey. I believe nothing is impossible. If I am able to change, so you can.
So now we have come to the end of this session. We thank you for giving us this opportunity to share with you some ideas and thought about what is rehab and treatment. We hope what we've shared would have been useful for you. We hope that you'll be able to use them, and we hope that you have a successful recovery treatment as you seek recovery.
Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me to share my life experience, and hopefully it could motivate and encourage those who seeking treatment. Thank you very much.